failure to communicate. That's the lead on a MarketWatch column today from Andrea Coombs that outlines 5 of the mistakes you want to avoid during a job interview. Hi, I'm Jim Gelter in San Francisco at MarketWatch, and joining me is Chris Noble to go through these 5 mistakes. Andrew's column, by the way, is based on research by Alexandra Levitt, who is a career trend consultant in Chicago. So, Chris, what are these mistakes?
So they're actually quite obvious if you think about it. There's the first one is just the way you talk about your experience. As you come, this column is about mature job seekers. So obviously you have a lot of experience, but you don't want to come in and just kind of blab non-specifically about how you're very experienced. You need to be able to relate your experience specifically to the job in question. So don't just say, I've been doing X for a lot of years. Say you've been doing X for a lot of years, and then give a specific example of how that experience will relate directly to the job you're interviewing for.
Which kind of takes us to the second point, talking about the skills that you bring to the job, and apparently sometimes people stray into the wrong skills.
Right, so it's really a question of going beyond the obvious. You don't want to just say, I've been working in this for 25 years, therefore I'd be a good candidate. You want to be able to again, be specific, but go beyond the obvious and say, I know how to work across different segments of a company. I know how to work in different parts of the world. I know how business is done in different places and in different languages, maybe, if you have that.
Well, one of the things that is pointed out in the article that is called a fumble.
Yeah.
I find that a great phrase. Fumbling your salary expectations. For an older job candidate, maybe they're shooting a little too high when they come into the interview.
Unfortunately, it seems like the main point here is really that you're just going to have to be willing to settle for a little bit less, because most of the times people who are 50 or older are making more money when they leave their previous jobs, so they kind of expect or want anyway more, and you just need to sort of be honest with your potential employer and say, I was making this, I understand the job may not pay as much, it's not a problem for me.
Okay, so once you get over that hurdle, there are still others
Yes.
that you have to cross. And one of those is the interview format.
Right, so a lot of people who are looking for jobs when they're 50 or older haven't had a job interview in perhaps decades. So they're going to want to sort of brush up on how things are done nowadays. And apparently the panel interview is quite popular. This is not something that has always been around, so you need to prepare for being interviewed by 4 or 5 people at once, trick questions. A lot of it is familiar to people who have looked for jobs more recently, and it's just a question of brushing up on the way things are done. And then the last thing is it's a question of gets back to sort of overconfidence, because people are they're experienced workers, they think they know what they're doing, and they probably do. But the question is getting your employer, who might be quite a bit younger, your potential employer might be quite a bit younger than the person who's interviewing for the job. They don't want you to come in and say, I know how to do this. You got to do some research about the person who's going to interview you, and certainly about the company that's interviewing you, in order to really know and to be able to connect with the interviewer.
Okay, so there you have it. Basically, in summary, don't overtalk your experience, and do your homework before going in, and keep your expectations realistic. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much, Chris. For MarketWatch in San Francisco, I'm Jim Gelter.